All right, let's switch gears and let's get back to the real estate market. All housing markets are local. We just talked a little bit about the downtown marketplace, but this gal was on our radio show this week. Linda Moore, she is terrific. She comes out of North County, specializing in Encinitas. Truly a wealth of knowledge when it comes to what's happening in that marketplace. Let's welcome over to the show. We got Linda Moore here. Good to have you here again.
Great, thank you.
And we've got a special guest that you've invited on, Sam Hansen with the Gaylord Hansen team. I've known Sam for years. Sam, good to have you on here, man.
Thank you. Good to
so let's first and foremost, let's talk about mortgage rates a bit. We talked a little bit on the radio show. They've spiked up a little bit. Sam, it's the first time we've had you on the program. The spike, what do people need to know?
They just need to know that the rate market's very volatile. There's a lot of different normal market forces affecting it right now. There's some fear of inflation. There's some global things going on, Greece. It just can rise really, really fast. We saw it rise about 0.5 point. We see it, recover about a quarter back. Still incredibly low rates. I think it's an incredible opportunity for people to still take advantage of these rates. And should they dip down a little bit again, even if somebody bought right now, they could take advantage of it and refinance and grab it when it gets lower. So it shouldn't stop people from moving.
You can definitely find yourself being a dog chasing your tail, right? I mean, they could be great today, and they move sometimes by the minute, right? You get these new rate sheets produced, but it's so important people understand it's not the Fed that just makes up interest rates, that it is determined by the market, as you mentioned. Speaking of the market, do you see a reaction of clients? Do they react differently when Sam's having to talk to them and tell them that rates have gone up, or do people not even pay too much attention, Linda?
I don't hear as much about that as they do, but obviously the rates have been fluctuating up and down, and I really don't see people having a genuine belief that they're going to go up very quickly in the future here, because they've stayed down so long and they've teetered around a lot. I'm not hearing that people are saying, I've got to lock in before the rates go up. We're saying that to them, but I'm not hearing the buyers say that.
Well, if you are curious where interest rates are, buying a house, refinancing, go to AmericanDreamElite.com. Hit us up to the contact form. We'll be happy to give you some advice on that. There's some major changes coming through the chute here in the financial industry. Dodd-Frank, Barney Frank, I think people know from politics, created this law. It got involved in the finance industry, mortgage, even affecting things like title and escrow now. The new thing is CFPB. This is going to be happening in August, correct?
August, it just is getting moved to October 1st to kind of get us out of the buying season, but it's coming fast, and we need to use the time wisely to get prepared.
So one of my favorite questions is, why should I care? I'm watching this show, I'm hearing all this talk about financial regulation and CFPB and August 1st, October. How does it affect me?
Well, I mean, if you really boil it down, I mean, the regulatory bodies are really after increased accuracy, increased transparency, and they really want the buyers to go to the tables with more knowledge of what they're getting into. They want to know exactly what the costs are over 5 years. They want them better educated, and there's a lot of positives about that, and making lenders and settlement service providers and our real estate partners be more prepared and get them that information sooner is a really, really good thing. So overall, I think it's positive. There is a lot of positives to it, but it is going to draw some negatives that the consumer should be aware of.
Yeah, so I think look, protecting the consumer, I'm all for it, right? Helping people to be more aware and knowledgeable, and it seems like a lot of these things are timelines to give them more time to really understand it. But I know that, as we saw with financial reform, sometimes these things can strangle some of the good guys like you out there. Are there any hurdles for you guys and what you have to do?
Yeah, we need to really be prepared. I mean, lenders really need to understand the rules, and if you really boil it down, the good faith estimate is changing to the loan estimate, and the HUD-1 settlement statement is changing to the closing disclosure. The biggest thing that they need to be aware of is at the end, towards closing, of waiting periods. They are inserting waiting periods that are going to affect everybody if we're not prepared and we don't take them seriously. So that's really, the waiting periods is the biggest thing.
So Linda, now you have to go back and transfer this information to the client who wants to close quickly, or your seller who's got another home. So now we're talking about a longer period of escrow.
Potentially.
Potentially. Right. I personally think that's a good thing, because so often I see that in the real estate community, they really try and rush everyone in the process to get it moving, and the financing is so important, it's so complicated that extra time could actually help you get some things together, not put so much pressure on people. But how do you react?
That's a challenge, Craig, because people's loans are locked. So if that's
Yeah.
coming due, that's a problem. They have a moving van scheduled. You know how hard it is to get a moving van right now? Everybody's made plans for timing. The seller wants to close on time. So Sam and I were discussing putting some verbiage in the contract that would say that if there was a mutually agreeable change in the agreement that would generate this additional disclosure time, that the contract could be adjusted for that additional time. So I think it's really important to be proactive like that in your contract. And we don't even know yet what some of these changes are going to be that would generate an additional disclosure.
Change triggers, yeah.
Well, good luck.
Yeah. No,
Well, I mean-
on the surface, it's very, very good. What is not considered is ultimately the additional cost of doing all this really
Rate
falls
locks
down to the
expiring.
consumer.
Yep.
And so that's the unfortunate part. And but you know what? We all as an industry need to better educate our clients. I believe this is what they're really after, and I think if we all do this right, we can make this a real positive.
Linda, you're helping a lot of people in North County. What's going on up there?
Well, you know, it's still very challenging for buyers making offers, very competitive. Really have to get your ducks in a row, make a good, strong offer. You know, there's a lot of properties that are very special that are going to get a lot of attention, and it isn't the kind of thing where you can just assume the seller is going to give you a counteroffer. You've got to write a really great offer in the very beginning.
What makes a great offer?
Having your ducks lined up, having your loan approved, a great pre-approval letter, your proof of funds, checking with the other agent and finding out what information they can give you. What's the seller's timing? What's their situation? What title? What escrow do you want? How can I write a perfect offer? What's on the table right now? Just really strategizing. A lot of times as a listing agent, I'll get an offer out of the blue. Nobody's called me. They don't even know. Maybe we're already reviewing offers. They don't know anything. So it's really important to be prepared and to try to get as much information ahead of time as you can.
Well, it's a great market up there in North County, whether you're buying or selling. LindaSellsMore.com, great website to connect with her on. And, you know, Sam, as far as all this paperwork, it's a lot, but you're a very trustworthy guy. Known Sam Hansen for many years. Linda, I always give you a lot of compliments, but we decided today going into break that we're gonna play a video of your clients giving you compliments. A great video. So let's go to break on that.
Buying a house is pretty stressful and then you have to write all the little lines and it's pretty massive documents. With Linda, just because we established that trust and confidence, it makes me, for sure, feel comfortable of signing it without like reading line by line.
Linda goes through everything line for line, word for word, explains every document. I feel totally comfortable with that.
We bought and sold homes before, so we kind of knew you have to do a lot of signing and everything. But if we had any questions, you know, Linda, she knew the answer, and you know, she was very patient in explaining things to us.
I mean, we didn't even have, I don't think, many questions because she was just very thorough, and she's obviously done it many times, so she's very methodical and going through everything. Gave us the time to read everything that we were looking at.
It was the trust that made the paperwork a lot easier. If there were little tricks in there, she would bring them to our attention.
She did a good job guiding us through making sure we knew the key point of the contract without spending hours and hours reading through all the detail of it.
The electronic signature process made signing the form is very easy to do. It was a complete breeze, very quick. It's a piece of cake compared to what it used to be.
Linda is very good at making sure that she guides her clients. You really do get caught up in all this paperwork, and you need someone to handle it for you and explain it to you. And Linda's very good at making you feel comfortable.
My goal is to have a really pleasant experience for the client. I take the time to explain the process to them to help them feel comfortable and involved. The stress that's involved is something that I feel very comfortable about taking on myself. So my job is to take the stress away from the buyer and the seller and to help them feel really comfortable with the process so that they don't have to worry about those things.